Ojekere. The concern is that the coming former defection of Peter Obi, because he said he's joining the APC, is a formalization.
ADC.
Yes, I mean, sorry, ADC. He's joining the ADC is a formalization, yeah? Chris, talk to me about what this means for the ADC, especially when you have the likes of former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who is a serial presidential contestant. And then you have the likes of Nasir El-Rufai, who is one of the most controversial politicians we have in the country right now, whom some say he left the APC to join the ADC after his attempt to join the SDP failed, largely because he was rejected as a minister because of security concerns around his person. All of these people are coming together. You also have the likes of David Mark. Are we not, gravitating towards an implosion, political implosion in the party, with the likes of Atiku saying they are not standing down for anybody, and they'll be also saying he is going to contest for the presidential ticket in that party? We just saw that statement from his aide, today. Chris.
Yeah, we are very happy that there's so much interest in the ADC, as it should be, and coming from all walks of life in Nigeria and from all Nigerians. That's quite interesting, and we're happy to hear that. I need for you to locate these issues in context. There are only two issues in all of the things that have been said. And those two issues are, one, are Nigerians beginning to see patriotic Nigerians who love this country and wants to rescue this country from a one-party state, from fascism, from the destruction of our judiciary, the destruction of our electoral systems, the destruction of our economy, from insecurity, and from unbearable, unrelieved tax increases and tariffs increases? The answer is yes. And the people who are gathering together to do that, and Nigerians who have seen the danger, the catastrophe that is in view, the cataclysmic situation that is in view, if Democrats, patriots, lovers of Nigerians don't come together to overthrow this system that is leading us there. The system, I mean, is the APC and the current government. That is cheering news. Every other thing that you have said are effects of this core issue. The core issue is where our focus would be. So the ADC is tied together by a common principle, and the principle is rescuing Nigeria by means of restoration of our democracy. Then the second thing, I'm happy that Honorable John Yakubu gets the paradigm very well. He's speaking about the fact that governance should be about development. The ideology that Obi is preaching has not bettered in all those other parties where he is and where he was. And that is why, having seen that Atiku Abubakar from the PDP, El-Rufai from the APC, Amechi from the APC, several others from ABGA and the others have been able to sustain a party.
I need to pause you now. Chris, just a moment. Chris, I need to pause you now for the news headlines, and then we'll be back with you in just a moment. Please stay. Of course, we just saw a quotable quote from Peter Obi a few seconds ago that prosperity will not come by taxing poverty. That's very, very profound. But let me get back to Christopher Ojekere to quickly anchor the point about the coming of these political bigwigs converging in the ADC and its implication for the race for 2027.
So the ADC is like a football team that has gone to the market to spend valuable money to get in the best players from across the world, this time across Nigeria. So we have strikers, we have defense, we have good midfielders, we have wingers. They are all now in ADC, are now driven by certain policy ideology, like John Yakubu started to talk about. and which Akwemoka referred to. For instance, Akwemoka has a problem with privatizing our national assets. But if you look at the cesspool of corruption that the NNPC is and has been, you would wonder whether you would not prefer the option of privatizing the NNPC. The NNPC have run us aground, if you have been following. Now, you would think of how much could have been saved if in 2013, Atiku had his way and the NNPC is privatized. Now, you've just quoted again, Sonny, another policy option to taxation that Obi just quoted. So these are the kind of ideas that are pulling to give Nigeria a new direction. The fact that we think that they are United States are very genius, and they're able to convert that kind of variety into strength. That is what ADC will do. The fact that ADC has been held together for over a year now, under the able management and supervision of David Mark, who is a veteran administrator who saved this country in the time a cabal was supposed to disintegrate this country. David Mark came up with the doctrine of necessity and held this country together. It should be very heartwarming that David Mark is heading the ADC. So we have people of experience who are coming from experience. And because they are coming from experience and they know how we have got to the cliff edge and have almost tumbled over by the so-called Emilokon, they are going to be very careful, as they are being careful now, on how to give us a sustainable nation via the instrumentality of their political party when we come into power in 2027.
The coming of Peter Obi into the ADC is not avoided because due process was not followed. It ought to go through the ward, but we saw from the report that his admittance into the ADC was at the party's zonal office. What do you make of this factional disposition to this Obi's coming to ADC?
In ADC, if you are not a member of ADC, you cannot be referred to as faction. The voice that is speaking, the voice of Esau, of Jacob, and the hand of Esau that is speaking, is not a member of the ADC. The ADC knows its members. We will begin to respond to such foolishness when it happens that it comes from our member. So you are asking me to respond to an unknown quantity to the ADC.
To comment on the prospect of the ADC in the 2027 election against the power of incumbency with the political czar himself in the saddle now, talking about Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What's your take on this, Chris?
All right. First of all, let me reiterate that APC will not drive our narrative, because I noticed that APC's propaganda has affected Akwemoka so much so that he now suffers from AAS, Atiku Abubakar syndrome. It was a similar thing that was happening to Americans who didn't see behind the curtain in America when Donald Trump was contesting, and then they were suffering from the DTS, Donald Trump syndrome. I can assure Akwemoka that there is no paper anywhere indicting Atiku or having any paper or any evidence before any court of competent jurisdiction in Nigeria that proves that Atiku is corrupt. That is a propaganda that was well spread and that is still being sustained. Atiku was the vice president to Obasanjo, the best regime we have ever had since 1999 democracy. That's the regime that ended all our debt, and Atiku was the head of the economic team that introduced the information technology we have today, whereby we can use GSM and all other internet facilities, that directed us to begin to privatize our...
Hello, Jekere, your final take, please.
I think it is clear to everybody now that the ADC did the right thing by giving Nigerians a neutral platform where all lovers of democracy can converge and ensure that we restore Nigeria back to democracy and from the hand of this oppressive fascism that Nigeria is threatened with by the current regime.
All right, gentlemen. Thank